Hey, welcome to the series of everything you need to know about Python in simplest possible way. In this video, we will see how this continue works in loops. So continue is a keyword in Python which is used to skip a specific iteration in loops. So for that reason, what we will be doing is that we will divide this video into 4 parts, and in the first part, we will be knowing how this continue works in for loop with syntax. After that, we will be seeing an example. And after that, what we will be doing is that we will see how this continue works in while loop with syntax. So after that, we will be knowing the examples. So in that way, we can able to understand this continue in a very clear way. So watch the video till the end so that you can able to understand this continue very clear way. So first we will start with continue in for loop with its syntax. So for that reason, what I will be doing is that in order to understand its syntax, I will use for element. We need to iterate through an iterable by using a variable, right? So for that reason, I am mentioning an element which is used to iterate through an iterable. So this element will be iterate through this particular iterable is just a syntax to make you to understand, right? So after that, in this for loop, we will be having some conditions, some statements, right? So I will be mentioning a statement here. So like that, we will be having some statements. So after that, in order to use this particular continue in loops, we will be having some condition. When that condition becomes true, then only we will be using this continue. So for that reason, I am mentioning some condition here, which is what the condition to execute this particular continue. So in here, we will be having continue here. So whatever the statements that comes after this particular continue will not be executed. Here we will be also mentioning some conditions, right? Some statements. So we will be having some statements here. So whatever the statements that are comes after this particular continue won't be executed when this particular condition becomes true. So we will be understanding this more clearly with some example. So for that, what I will be doing is that I will take an iterable and I will assign two numbers. So I am taking these numbers, and after that, in the loop, we will be iterating through some iterable, right? So for that reason, I will be taking a list. So in this list, what we will be doing is that we will be having positive numbers and also some negative numbers. So why I am taking positive and negative, let us go ahead and see. So I will be having -1, 2, 3, minus 2. Like that, I will be having some numbers here. So I will take some more numbers, 4, -5, like that we will be having these numbers. So what we will be doing now is that we will be iterating through these numbers. So for number in numbers, so we will be iterating through these numbers, right? So for that reason only I am doing this. So inside of this, what we will be doing is that we wanted to understand this continue, right? So for that reason, I will mention a condition. So if this number is less than or equal to 0. So if this number is less than or equal to, what we will be doing? We will just simply continuing this. So if this number less than or equal to 0, we will be continuing this. Else, what we will be doing? We will be printing this particular number. So what I am doing here is that I want only positive numbers out of this list. I wanted to print only positive numbers. So for that reason, in this for loop, I am mentioning condition. If this particular number is less than or equal to 0, I am not doing any process. I am simply continuing this. Else, what we will be doing? We will be printing this. So now if I execute this, so we can able to see the only positive numbers, not the negative numbers. So that is what we can see by this particular condition. So if this condition becomes true, if the negative value occurs, we will be just simply continuing. Else we will be printing this particular thing. So here you can able to observe clearly, I am mentioning this if condition, this continue statement before these particular statements. So when I mention this particular statement after this particular statements and observe the difference. So I am taking this from here and I am mentioning at the end. So now if I execute this, you can able to see all the values coming here. So that means even though this process is executing, this particular statements does not have any effect in the output. So for that reason, keep in mind that this continue statement always comes first whatever the statement that you are going to mention. So whenever you wanted to skip some statements, you need to mention this particular condition block before those statements that you wanted to skip, or otherwise you will get all these particular values in the output, and that becomes a problem and it will arise with a bug. So I hope you can able to understand this particular difference. So for that reason, always mention this condition block before you wanted to skip the statements. So now I hope you can able to understand this continue with for loop. So let us go ahead and see how this continue works in while loop. So first we will be seeing the syntax. So for that reason, what I will be doing is that I will be using this particular while, and in while what we have, we will be having some condition, right? So we will be having some condition. As long as this condition becomes true, we will be executing the block of code, the while block of code. So in this while loop, what we will be having, we will be having this particular condition, which is break condition, this continue condition, right? Continue condition. So if this continue condition becomes true, we will be mentioning continue, and this will continue till this particular, as long as this particular executes. If this condition continue condition becomes true, we will be continuing this particular thing, and what we will get, we will be going and skipping the statements that are coming after this particular thing. So here also you need to observe one of the important thing that I will be discuss with an example. So we will be having some statements, right? Statements here. So this particular while block will have some conditions, which will have some statements, and also will have this particular block which is used to continue this particular iteration. So now we will be understanding with example so that you can able to understand more clearly. Very important example, so that you need to listen and till the end. So now what I will be doing is that I will start with a number. I will start with the number with 1 and go till the numbers of 10. So by using this while loop, I will go till 10. So number till 10, right? So for that reason, number less than or equal to 10. I am mentioning number less than or equal to 10. In this, what we will be doing is that we will be having the continue condition, right? So for that reason, I am mentioning if this particular number is modulo divisible by 2 and equal to 0, this is nothing but to mention if this number is even number. What it is, if this number is even number, what we are doing here, we will be continuing this particular process. I am mentioning continue. If the number is even, I am not doing anything, we are simply continuing this process. Else what we are doing, we are printing this particular number, so which becomes only odd numbers here. So now in the while loop, we generally specifically mention one statement which is used to change this particular condition, right? So it will change this particular condition and eventually it needs to become false, right? So for that reason, if I mention this particular changing statement here, number plus equal to 1, if this number plus equal to 1 will present at this statement here, what happen is that it will skip some statements, right? This particular thing, which is if condition, will skip some statements so that it won't be executed. So now if I execute this, it will go to infinite loop. So I am executing this. So you can see it was going to infinite loop. You can observe the star, which refers it was not executing, it was continuously executing. Because we are having this continue, this will not be executed. So for that reason, we are not getting any output, and here we are stuck here. So for that reason, what we generally do, we will restart this particular thing. So I am restarting this, and now what we need to do, as we are mentioning these particular statements at the end, we are going to infinite loop. So for that reason, we need to mention this particular statement as and when we enter into the loop or before this particular condition statements. So this modification statement, this condition modification statements should be present before this particular continue. So now if I execute this, we can able to see all the odd numbers, but we are not getting this particular one, right? So for that reason, you initializing condition should be changed, maybe with start with 0. So now you can able to see all these odd numbers 1 to 11. So now I hope you can able to understand this continue, how to use this continue in while block. So we will be having a condition in while block. Based on this condition, we will be entering into the block. We need to mention this particular continue block after this particular modification statements and before whatever the statement that we wanted to skip. In middle only we need to mention. I hope you can able to understand this continue with while loop. So in the next video we will see how we can use pass in loops. So I hope you have found this video interesting. I hope you have understood all the things that what I have explained here. So if you found this video interesting, hit the like button. In the next video we will see pass. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.